Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of GTO Coach Go. My name is Stevie G. I'm filling in today for Jim Delliman. I hope you guys all had a wonderful long Memorial Day weekend. But we are back to work and back here with a new episode of GTO Coach Go to show you something new we've been working on. But I'm not going to talk about it. I have an expert on today, so don't worry about that. I do want to tell you, though, before we dive in, please do go subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet. We are also on LinkedIn and Facebook as well, Group Travel Odyssey. Just go there. We kind of show you everything that we're doing, updates on social media, and that way you can stay in the know with the latest GTO stuff going on. Well, that's about enough of me rambling on. Let me go ahead and bring on our expert today. This is someone who's going to talk us through a new integration we've got with Travefy. I'm really excited to talk about it. But please welcome Christina Luth. Christina, how's it going?
It's going. How are you doing, Stevie?
I'm doing great. Really excited about this edition of Coach and Go because I think the Travefy integration is going to be really exciting. But Christina, maybe we should start here. Can you maybe talk about what Travefy is for anyone out there that might not be familiar with it?
Absolutely. Yes. And so today is my day back from vacation. So my apologies if I am not Coach and Go.
Well, welcome back.
But today we're going to talk about Travefy. Travefy is a really awesome application. The reason I mentioned vacation is I actually just used it on my vacation to kind of see how it works if I am the traveler and the coordinator. So I have some details along the way to talk to you about that. But Travefy is an application we're going to be working with that is great for your itineraries. So this is something that you can put together. It's very flashy. It's really nice to give. That looks very modern to your clients. And it's also helpful for you. So I'll show you kind of on the real one, like I mentioned, I actually just used it on a real trip that I went on, about how that's helpful. But ultimately, this is something that is for what we're doing with GTO. It's meant for your final itinerary. Later on, we might approach it from another angle, as Travefy has a lot to offer. But those of you who have been asking us about something to make you look great to your clients with those final itineraries, this is something we're offering you.
That's awesome. Well, why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's pull up your screen and I'll kind of let you take it from here. I know you got a whole plan out there for us for today's episode, but the floor is yours, Christina, if you just kind of want to walk us through the next steps.
Absolutely. So first off, in Travefy, so if you might be wondering how you use this within GTO, so the first thing I want to preface this today with is Travefy is a separate application, and per their rules, you do have to have an account with them and have the API access turned on. So if this is something you're trying to figure out how to navigate, how to get that account set up, please reach out to us in the help desk, or you can reach out to your support helmsman and tell them you're interested in Travefy and we can help you navigate those waters. If you already have an account, reach out to Travefy and let them know you would like to begin using their API. So again, you can reach out to us with questions. So once you have that set up, you would reach out to us and we'll connect your Travefy account to your GTO account. And then you will be doing the following per trip to set up that final itinerary. So I am currently on a trip in Trip Manager, and I'm going to go to the final itinerary tab. You will see right here there is a button which pretty much none of you should see now, but you will once you have connected that Travefy account. So right now I have this on our testing environment since we do have a testing Travefy account. So we're going to click this Review Travefy Options. All right, so what happens here is if you're familiar with WeTravel, which a lot of you are, you know that you have to review some selections before sending it through the API to create over there. Travefy is very robust and same kind of idea here. There's a lot of things that you can send over. So this is really just reviewing your selections before you send that over. So first of all, you can see your trip name here. That's what will get sent to Travefy. Next, for the purposes of time on Coach and Go, I have put in a picture. You can also put one in as your Travefy cover photo. So this is like the top that you would see in Travefy. And then the invite message, and this has to do with inviting people to your trip in Travefy. So those are the basic things that you would need for your trip. The start and end date will also send over that are on your trip in Trip Manager. But the meat of your itinerary is obviously going to be your products. So in GTO, as you know, your itinerary is built out of trip products. So each trip product has a scheduled start end date and times, and you're just going to be using that information you've already input and sending it over to Travefy. So as you can see here, this is a list of all of my trip products for this testing trip. I'm going to expand that out a little. And this is the information that you would be needing to create that Travefy itinerary. That's what these columns represent. Now, for your convenience, what we have done is if you click, let's start with a simpler one. Let's go to an attraction, this museum here. If you click the edit button, what will open is a small screen here that will be the information that really is only pertinent to sending to Travefy. So you can see we have the event name over here. This is what gets sent to Travefy. Ultimately, it will be the supplier name most of the time. Otherwise, if you want to override that, you can do so here. If you were using an itinerary product, I'll go and show you that in a moment, but it does use the price description. So for example, if you had like checkout of the hotel, it would say checkout of the hotel. Here you can drag in an image for your itinerary. So this is per product, you would have one image that you can send over to Travefy. And then you have your product start and end dates along with start and end time. And then also time zone is something you can send over. If you're putting in a time zone, make sure to use the abbreviated letters, not like a full name, as that would send over better to Travefy. And then finally, this is about your language here. So you can see this is the text that would be included to explain what this event is in Travefy. And you have your same options like you do when you're building a final itinerary document in GTO, where you can put the website, phone number, address, or you can also override the language. As you can see, it clears it out, and then you can type in whatever you would like. So that is how you would get that information to Travefy. I'm going to go ahead and push cancel here. So, and like I had just mentioned about itinerary products, I think I have one right here. So if you were to use the itinerary products supplier, that's again, most of those wordings, you would see the event name here is going to use that price description. So just a heads up on that. So that way you're not having a bunch of things in your final itinerary in Travefy listed as itinerary products, because we don't want that. All right, so then there are a couple things that are unique and to watch out for. So this is the flashing. This is important. So if you're going to use a Travefy integration, this is the part. I'm going to repeat again. This is important to pay attention to. First is airline. So if you have used Travefy before, this will be familiar to you, and I mentioned this, but otherwise, for those of you who are new, Travefy collects for flight, especially, it wants a number. So one of the things you can do when you put in a flight number into Travefy is it will pull in that information for you about the different things about that flight. So when you're building in Travefy, that's something that is over there, and then you'll have that the scheduled times of when you are arriving and where. So what this will be for airline is just a heads up here is make sure on your airline product itself. So this is the product in GTO with the money. So your main product. this is the one that you want to have this leave on final itinerary box checked. So this is different than what you've seen in GTO before, which is why it's important. So ultimately, what happens at this point is when you have this checked, it's going to pull this flight schedule information you've entered that's connected to this airline that you are paying for. So you can see they click the little edit box. You can put in a flight number here. You can put your information for departure and arrival. And then you can kind of click through any of those pieces of the flight that you have. So this is an important thing, again, to mention that this is different than normal if you're trying to create one in GTO. That is going to be a Word document itinerary. If you're using Travefy, make sure to turn on leave on final itinerary on your main airline product and turn off on anything you've used for itinerary product wording. Otherwise, you'll just have duplicates. The other one that is important to mention here is your hotel. So let's look for our main hotel product. I believe I have it scheduled. There it is. So just like airline, hotel, you have usually in GTO, when you're doing that Word document itinerary, you're used to putting in itinerary language for hotel check-in and hotel check-out. Now with your Travefy, it does not need to have that extra product. What you would do here is on your main hotel product, make sure to click the leave on final itinerary, like I had mentioned, same with airline, and put in the start date. And this will then have that check-in time. And then we'll put the check-out as well. Sorry, I did not have that on here, but the product end date would ultimately be your check-out. So that is how that gets put into Travefy. So you don't need to put in those extra check-in, check-out. All you need to do on your main hotel product, check leave on final itinerary, and then put in a start and end date along with your times. And that's how that will get put in. So ultimately here, you can go through and click through these. I'm not going to go through all of them because that's a lot and we'll save some time for today. But you can see it's the same options on each, putting your times and your images of what you want to show for each of these products. And for anything you don't want to show, you can just check off the box for leave on final itinerary and it will not send to Travefy. And then when you are done, you will click this big blue button that says click create Travefy itinerary. And then ultimately that is going to return you to your main page. And then it just takes just a couple minutes to complete that. You can see it's already done there. You can go back in. We'll scroll to the bottom here. And you can see the date it was created and my full link. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Oh, it's not ready yet. We'll go into Travefy and show it probably needs me to log in. So I go to Travefy. Make sure I switch to my Travefy. There we go. Okay. So if I go to Travefy, we can see the trip that I just created here. And we're going to click edit. And ultimately, you can see now it's created my trip name with my photo I put in here, along with my days organized with the trip products underneath. So this is how it's ultimately going to send to Travefy, and then you can log in and you can make any edits that you like. So a couple notes. First, this is a test trip, which means that the information we've put in is fake. So some of the functionality is not quite there, such as the flights. If I would scroll down to one, you would see that it's not going to be quite right because I don't have an actual flight number in there. So what I'm going to do next is show you a real trip, which is kind of why I said at the beginning that I've used Travefy, to show you when you have real information in Travefy, what that can do for you. All right. So we are going to go over to here. Okay, so what I first wanted to show you is this right here. When you put in an actual flight number, you can see I have more information. I have the airline, the terminal, the gate. I also have information like a picture of the airport. So that's why it's important to put in that flight number. Same with rail, put in that rail number so that way Travefy can put that information in. The other thing that happens that was so helpful when I was traveling is that if there's delays on your flight, anybody that's connected to and has that Travefy link, they will be notified that there is a delay on the flight via text message. So we know that you don't always have internet when you're traveling, especially abroad. So that is something that can be very helpful to be notified of those maybe flight delays. And then what I also wanted to show is if you were to take a cruise, this is something that you can put in the ship number. And what was really helpful for me is when you go on that ship, again, you hardly ever have good Wi-Fi on a cruise ship. So when you are on a cruise ship, and you need to know where something is, because some of those are pretty big, they also provide deck plans. And I loved this part about Travefy, that I could, if I'm trying to find a specific place on the ship, you could look at the deck plans, the map, and have it right on your phone, and not need internet, because there is a way to look at your Travefy itinerary offline as well. So just to point out some of those key things that are really nice about using the Travefy app when it's real information such as this. All right, so ultimately that is the first steps with Travefy. So we are very excited about this integration. Again, this is brand new. It's phase 1. So what that means is there's a little bit of a future to this API. So first off, you might have noticed images. Oh, so exciting. So a lot of you have been asking about images. We are having them with Travefy, and we are going to be looking the rest of this year about allowing you to have images in other arenas as well of when you're using GTO. So there is more to come with that, as far as suppliers supplying us with images of their locations that maybe you could use, or putting in your own, maybe putting in multiple. So that is something we are looking into for the rest of this year. If that is something you were wondering about, it is a to come part of this integration. As well as Travefy does have a quote option. That is also something we are looking into for the future. But for now, we're just starting with the final itinerary and seeing how that goes. So just to finally put that out there, we really would love your feedback. This is a brand new integration. Again, you can see that I kind of was playing with it myself while on vacation because I wanted to see what it really looks like. But we would love for you as tour operators to, if you are using Travefy, especially now, please connect with us. And then give us that feedback of how this API is working for you. This is something that's really important with a brand new connected partner, is to have your feedback of what things we can improve on and what things need to be fixed. And that is
awesome. Thanks for walking us through that. That was great. It looks so clean. I feel like it's such a nice feature. Love the cruise feature, like you were talking about. Yes. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Very, very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned, we're in phase 1. Obviously, this is new, and you probably won't be able to answer this question. It's a little bit of a loaded question, but phase 2, like, is there a timeline on that, or what kind of steps do you need to get to phase 2 of the integration?
That's a great question. And honestly, a big part of that is kind of dependent upon you, the users. We really need to see people using the current step of this API, how it's working for you, what changes might need to be made. We can only do so much with testing. So we really need some real-time feedback. And when we have that feedback, we can get a better idea of when the next phase might need to be launched. If you're really dying for those quotes or you're really dying for multiple images, we need to know from you what you want the most, what is holding you back. So that's kind of what affects our timelines. So that is just a great reason to reach out to us.
Feedback.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. Is there anything else Travefy related that we kind of need to cover? I think we might have covered it all already, but just throwing that out there to you.
I think just about it. The only other thing I can think of is just to reiterate, if you don't have Travefy already, you do need to sign up for an account. So just like we have that WeTravel integration, same thing here. You do have to have a Travefy account. That is a different cost. So reach out to us if you need help with navigating that. Otherwise, you can reach out to Travefy directly and sign up for an account, an account with API access. There's two different ones there at Travefy. So that's just something to reiterate that this is separate and you would need to sign up for that.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap things up, just some basic closer things to go through. Thank you all for, first of all, watching this episode of Coach and Go. Please do subscribe to Group Travel Radio on YouTube. Follow us on LinkedIn. Group Travel Odyssey on YouTube. Follow us on LinkedIn and like us on Facebook. We're always putting great stuff out there. That's where we broadcast these Coach and Goes. You can find it on any of those platforms. And I mentioned Group Travel Radio. Go subscribe to that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. That's kind of a podcast we started that talks about group travel, brings you relevant information so you can be, better equipped to, make it work in the group travel world. We're all trying to, get great information about how best to move forward with our groups. So please do subscribe to Group Travel Radio. If you guys have any questions about anything, whether it's Travefy related or something totally different, please do email our help desk and put help in the subject line. Our help desk is help@gtonetwork.com. Coach and Goes happen every other Tuesday. So this was a great one today. And we have one not next Tuesday. That's a fast break week, but the following Tuesday. And I think that's about it. Did I hit all the reminders there, Christina?
That sounds perfect.
Well, thank you, Christina, again, for going over that with us. And thanks everyone out there for watching. I'll see you in the near future sometime. So catch you later. Thanks, Christina.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of GTO Coach and Go. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And be sure to check out more of our media, including Destination Dispatch and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.